Introduction on the Nature and Method of Metaphysical Science. Article 1. On the Nature of Metaphysics. On the name Metaphysics. The name metaphysics etymologically signifies after or transphysics. Andronicus of Rhodes, circa 70 BC, when collecting the works of Aristotle, seems to be the first to use this name to designate the books of the master that deal with metaphysical things, and he placed them in his collection immediately after the books of the physics. So in Andronicus, the title signifies simply the things that follow physics. The scholastics, however, understood this term in the sense of transphysics, because in this science we pass beyond bodily and changeable things, the consideration of which belongs properly to physical or natural philosopher, to transcendental things that are common to non-bodily and bodily things, to changeable and unchangeable things, or even things that are proper to God. On the definition of metaphysics. Metaphysics is defined as the science of being qua being. Its material object is any being or thing, whether immaterial, as God, angel, or soul, or material, as atom, plant, animal, etc. Whether substance or accident, actually existent or capable of existing, etc. Its formal object, or the aspect under which the material object is considered, is being qua being. For the highest and most abstract grade of reality, namely the idea of being itself, is what the metaphysician considers in all beings, and he demonstrates of its properties that they do inhere in it. The description of this science and its relation to other disciplines. Metaphysics can, therefore, be described as the first real speculative science. It is a science because it is a body of demonstrable truths about a single formal object. The things that are chiefly demonstrated about being are its properties or transcendental attributes, whether these are simply convertible with being, as one, true, good, etc., or disjunctively convertible, as act and potency, dependent and independent, etc. Insofar as it is a science, metaphysics differs from sacred theology, because the latter is not a science in the strict Aristotelian sense, for its principles are not evident but revealed. Metaphysics is a real science, as it's plain from its definition, for being signifies the same as thing or what actually exists, or is at least capable of existence. Therefore, metaphysical notions are first intentions, or concepts that are predicated immediately of things themselves. So metaphysics differs from the logical sciences, which deal with second intentions, that is, concepts that are predicated immediately of other concepts or of beings of reason. Metaphysics, indeed, is the first or supreme real science, and so differs from other less universal real things, as physics, cosmology, psychology, etc., for it does not just consider one or other part of reality, as these sciences do, with the totality of things. Therefore, by reason of its material object, metaphysics is equivalent to all the real sciences taken together. Further, it is first by reason of its formal object, for the other sciences consider things in some narrower aspect, as physics considers things as changeable, cosmology things as bodily, etc. But metaphysics considers them precisely as they are real. Hence, other real sciences, as cosmology, philosophy of man, etc., presuppose metaphysics and use its conclusions as their principles. But metaphysics does not use the conclusions of any other real science, physics, or natural philosophy as principles. Metaphysics is a speculative and not practical science, because it does not tend towards any other operation but speculation. Hence it differs from ethics, which is practical. Other names of this science. Aristotle, the author of this science, designated it with two names, theology or divine science, for it is by investigating ultimate causes of being it reaches the contemplation of God and angels. First, philosophy, for it considers the first causes of things, and because other real sciences follow metaphysics by taking their principles from it. After Christian Wolff, 1679 to 1754. Many neo-scholastics divide metaphysics into general, ontology, and special, cosmology, psychology, natural theology, etc., but badly, because neither ontology, the science of being qua being, nor natural theology, natural science about God, can be construed as sciences by us in this life independently of each other. For when we prove the disjunctive properties of being, we by that fact demonstrate the existence and nature of the first being, namely God. Nor does it seem that we can easily prove all the simply convertible properties, namely true and good, unless we first have knowledge of God as infinitely or perfectly intelligent and loving. Hence metaphysics, the science of being qua being, must include as an integral part of the treatment of infinite being, as it is the ultimate cause and reason of the universe of beings, of the division of this science. Having, therefore, rejected the division of Wolf, we will try in the following pages to construct a metaphysical science where, in true scholastic tradition, the science of being qua being and natural science are united. So the following division is proposed. The first part treats the notion of transcendental being and its attributes considered generally, including as well as the treatment of the attribute of one, which is among the first attributes of being. The second part treats disjunctively convertible attributes, namely transient and permanent, act and potency, caused and uncaused, substantial and accidental, absolute and relative, etc. Together, these attributes are shown to be in the fact the primary divisions of real beings. The third part treats the existence and nature of the first being, namely God, in whom indeed is verified the perfect member of each disjunction, namely the permanent, pure act, uncaused, substance, absolute, etc. Dealt with here also is the intellectual life of God, namely his understanding and volition, and of its relation to the finite world. The fourth and last part treats of certain of the simply convertible attributes, namely true and good, or of the universal intelligibility and loveliness of being. By way of introduction, we will, in the following part of the introduction, deal with the method of metaphysics, where we will treat of 1. The methodological starting point, namely the experience of finite being. 2. Aristotle's famous division of being we experience, namely the 10 categories. 3. Certain transcendental properties of the being of experience, the science and method of metaphysics in its certitude and value.